Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about what if I never see my ex again?
This is a fear that happens often. Before we get into it, I did want to say that Craig and I are available for coaching sessions. So if you are interested in talking about your situation one-on-one with one of us, you can do so by heading to the website.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things we think about and wonder is this going to be the last time I see this person? Sometimes we think, is this the last time I'll talk to this person? And it really can be scary to think that this is the final time. And boy, if we start to think like that, it just makes us kind of spiral out of control. Sometimes it's because the last time you saw them was really tense. Maybe it was a big fight, a big argument. Maybe some really hurtful things were said. Maybe you were begging. Maybe you were trying to change their mind. Maybe you were pressuring them. Maybe you showed up there at their house. Hopefully you didn't do that one.
I did that one.
Yeah.
But it is kind of embarrassing. You're thinking, man, is that how they're going to remember me for the last time they saw me?
Yeah. It's awful to think like that. And we kind of want to undo it.
Yeah.
Like I did a coaching with a guy today that the last time he interacted with her, he was like, I don't like the way it ended. And so he desperately wanted to send another message. And it went okay, but he took some ill-advised coaching where the coach suggested sending a text that was talking about, well, I think that this is for the best and that we should both move on to find other people that are better fit for us. Okay. And I said, I just cringe. And he's like, I'm so sick over that.
Yeah.
I'm so sick. I wish I had never sent it. Cause I said, it's like, why would somebody suggest doing that when you don't mean that?
Right.
You're not authentic. You don't mean that you want to move on.
It feels more final. It kind of feels like then, that person ended it.
Yeah. So he felt even worse about the situation. And that's why he wanted to kind of undo it. I said, just be patient and give it some time. But he couldn't do it.
It's hard to leave that last moment the way it was.
Yeah.
And sometimes in our mind we want it to be perfect. Sometimes it hurts more because it was perfect. Maybe the last moment that you shared with your ex was super romantic. Many of you who are in long distance relationships, maybe the last time you saw each other was a while before the breakup, and it was a really romantic time together in Bali or wherever it could have been.
Well, yeah, a lot of times the last time you see each other, you had great sex, the best sex you've had in a long time.
And then you realize that the relationship ends and you're wanting more of that. You're thinking, man, is that just the end of good times for me? Is that the end of joy and romance for my life?
Yeah.
So it can be, sometimes really difficult, even if the ending was really great.
Yeah, absolutely. But one of the things that I told him is that I said, look, I know you're not too happy with that last message that you sent, but she had told him, even at the breakup, that he was great to her. She wasn't sure if this was the right decision, and how he was one of the people that treated her best in her life. And I said, that is going to weigh far more on her than this last text message that you sent. But he was just too anxious.
Yeah.
He had to undo it.
You have to think about the bulk of the relationship there and really the quality of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's a good point.
So with last moments, those of you who have lost a close loved one in your life, you know exactly what this is like. Because you've experienced a last moment with somebody who passed away, somebody who you really care about. And some of you can vividly remember some of those last exchanges that you have.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely can with people that I've lost in my life. And I think about those moments.
I need to erase those memories.
It's bringing you to tears. You think back on it, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes this can complicate grief, just like in a breakup, just like in a passing away or a death, where maybe those last moments were really rough, or you said some mean things that you didn't mean to say, and now you feel like you can't recover, like that client that you had. So it can be something that's super meaningful to us, something that sticks with us for a very long time, something that can have a really huge impact.
Yeah, it really can, because it gets us to feel this overwhelming amount of anxiety on, did I mess it up so bad because of what I did? And there are situations where that does happen, of course. You know what I mean? If they're saying they're going to call the police and they're going to get a restraining order on you, you better leave them alone and take that extremely seriously. but we get this primal panic that we feel like when the relationship is over and have this massive amount of separation anxiety, it makes us feel like we're dying, like we're drowning, and we just feel so desperate and hopeless and helpless that we'll literally say and do anything. But what happens is it just makes us worse. It makes us more out of control. It makes us push our partners further away.
Right. And with the primal panic, this really comes up because we're all wired for connection.
Yeah.
So back in the days, those good old days.
Woolly mammoth days.
Woolly mammoth days. We would really rely on each other for protection. When you were in a group of people, you were stronger because you can fight off any kind of predators much easier with a crowd, with
That's
a
right.
group.
Yeah.
And so now, biologically wired in us, when we separate from somebody that we love, our brain literally thinks that we are in danger, that we are going to die, that we are isolated from our tribe, from our group. And this is that panic that happens inside of us. It's quite literally the fear of death.
Yeah. And it's like you're like a lost kid in the store where you feel like you've lost your family and you're never going to find them again.
Right? You're disconnected from that sense of safety that comes with being in a partnership. So this can be really hard. And not even to mention abandonment wounds. You know, when we talk about childhood experiences really affecting our romantic relationships, many of you have had a parent that was supposed to stick around that didn't. Maybe a parent passed away, maybe a parent left, maybe a parent was dealing with substance abuse issues or, immigration issues. There's a bunch of things that can get in the way of a family, get in the way of a child's connection with their parents. And so a breakup is one of those things that can trigger that memory from childhood of somebody leaving. Is this the last time I'm going to see this person that's been so close to me that I've been so vulnerable with?
Yeah. And if you're a parent, you need to do whatever you can to maintain that relationship with that child. Otherwise, it's going to cause them trauma. I can speak for experience there because my dad left my mom when I was like 18 months old, something like that. And so I think that's where a lot of my separation anxiety came from as a kid. And, as an adult, I could look back and see that, my dad didn't leave in the right way, but then my mom didn't handle the divorce properly. And she was terrified of losing me or that my dad was going to get full custody. So that caused me a lot of anxiety. So if you're a parent and you're going through a divorce or a separation, I know it's not easy, but make sure you're doing your best to be a responsive parent, that your child knows you are there for them.
Yeah. And this is why it's so important to consider your childhood and to really understand your abandonment wounds when you're going through a breakup, because these things can, re-trigger those past wounds. When we go through a breakup, it feels final. We grieve as though we've lost the person. And so not having access to that person, it can be really difficult for us to handle. And a lot of times we pair it with the thought of we won't be happy again. We think that losing them means that's our last chance at finding love in life. Sometimes we have experienced a connection with somebody that we never have before. We felt some things in our body and our mind that we've never experienced before. And so our brain tells us during a separation, oh no, we're never going to feel this again. So it's kind of similar to, I don't know if you've ever had a favorite toy as a kid that you were just so
All of
attached
them.
to. And then one day it just falls out the car window, and then you have that feeling of, oh my gosh, that was my favorite toy and I lost it forever and I won't have a toy that could possibly replace it. Maybe toy is not a great choice of words here, but your partner's not your toy. I'm not trying to compare people to objects here, but my
like
point
Optimus
here,
Prime? I mean, we'll compare to Optimus Prime. I mean, it's a pretty great toy.
But my point here is that you grow so attached.
Should I just list off my toys?
Let's go back to the comment.
The comment somebody made today. That Coach Craig, would you please stop interrupting Coach Victoria with your jokes? And I said, no.
He just continues the joke.
I'm just going to start listing toys
trying to
as
keep
you
us
continue.
on track.
You're going to you keep going on track. I'm just going to list out toys, okay?
At the end of this video, he's going to call back to this exact joke.
So go on.
And so...
Megatron.
My point here
He-Man. Skeletor.
This man is all about toys. So
Ninja Turtles.
He knows his toys.
Luke Skywalker. R2-D2.
You grow
Darth
attached
Vader.
to something, just like Craig goes very attached to his R2-D2.
Boba Fett. I've got a boba fetish.
This has gone off the rails. Not even I could say
All
this.
right, keep going, keep going.
And so we grow so attached to our person, and that connection is so unique
Princess Leia.
that it's hard to think that we could ever experience that again or grow that close to someone ever again. And so that can be a really defeating thought. It can be a really depressing thought.
Absolutely. We get so caught up sometimes in those
Polly
last
Pocket.
moments. I didn't know you played with toys. That's the only thing that threw me off. Gem? Strawberry shortcake?
At this point, this is not even a breakup video. It's just us listening to our
Toys that we love and miss. Just kidding. I still have all mine. Should we go get some and play with them at the end of the video?
I think they're sick of it at this point.
Okay. I apologize. But I'm not going to stop. I apologize, but I'm going to continue. Where were we?
We were talking about loss and grief.
Loss and grief. Never feeling like you're going to talk to that person again. It is the worst feeling because you really do get so stuck in that last moment that it kind of haunts you, right? You're just beating yourself up, thinking like, I messed this up so bad. I did 9 of the 10 sins in Coach Craig's Breakup Sins video. And then we just think that our partners won't overlook those things. But they really do remember all the good times. And so you have to kind of get to a place where you get yourself grounded, realize that this is a process, you're okay, bring yourself to the present moment. There's no woolly mammoth trying to step on you, hopefully. You never know. And that you played a significant part in their life, and they're not going to forget that. They're not going to forget all the good things that you did. They're not going to forget all those kind things that you did for them, or all those memories, or all those plans. Even if you did mess up at the breakup, or fights that led to the breakup.
Right. And while this isn't an irrational fear, we can't sit here and promise that, yes, you will absolutely 100% see your ex again, especially if it is long distance and there are other barriers between you and your partner. But we can say that it's not a completely accurate fear. We talk a lot on this channel and some of our other videos of thinking in black and white and thinking in absolutes and extremes.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when we're going through grief, when we're going through a breakup, our brain tries to come up with something so that we feel like we have control. And in our minds saying, I'm never going to see my ex again, that feels concrete, that feels like something we can grasp. The truth is there is a lot of uncertainty in life. We've heard of some wild situations where people have crossed paths again in completely unexpected ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So while we don't want to, give you this kind of false hope or say 100% this is going to happen, we want to say that you need to be in a place where you're prepared for whatever interaction happens next. You need to get to a place where you yourself are centered and grounded. And allow yourself to grieve. Whether you see your ex or not again in the future, this breakup has happened, it's weighed heavy on you, and it's something to process. That next interaction, whether it happens or not, is part of the journey. And the most important element here is you.
Yeah, it's tough. We know that it's tough going through that and feeling like you're never going to talk to that person again. Most of you will, okay? Even if you don't wind up getting back together, a lot of times exes do reach out. They look for excuses. They do indirect or direct approaches. Sometimes they come back a couple years later. We're not saying to put your life on hold, but sometimes just knowing that you never know what's going to happen with life where somebody can show up again or pop back up into your life. It can ease you from that catastrophe and that panic that we feel like it's over forever.
Oh yeah. And something that Margaret used to say that brought me a lot of comfort, and I still think about it to this day. She would often say, they're still on planet Earth.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
This is very different from an actual death where the person is no longer accessible at all. You can remind yourself this person is still here with us, sending out some of that energy of, I hope they're thriving. I hope they're doing well. They're still alive. There's still an energy here on Earth. Sounds a little woohooey, but I think it's comforting to know that, they're still here. So that can be something that soothes your mind when you're feeling very anxious about it.
Absolutely. And anything that makes you feel a little bit better, including our bad jokes. is great during a breakup.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully this one's been helpful to you. If you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
Craig also does toy consultations.
We'll talk about those collectibles.
But I am here to help whenever you need.
But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Castle Grayskull.
And I'm Coach Polly Pocket.
And we will talk with you soon.